beautiful human, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, what's up? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you've been here for a while, thank you for your support and kindness and love. It's 9 o'clock at night and I'm drinking my sleepy time tea. And I looked at kind of like my content for the month, and someone in one of the question boxes on Instagram responded and said they would love for me to talk about work-life balance and just if that even exists, how do we find it, how do we cultivate it in our life. And so we're going to chit chat for a little bit tonight about work-life balance and if that is even actually a thing. When I think about work-life balance, I personally think that there is not such a thing as work-life balance. I think that there is sometimes for some of us in various aspects of our life, there is a time where we just kind of have to put our head down and like go through the trenches. But in those moments where we are putting our head down and going through the trenches, I think that's where we plan strategically to implement rest, to figure out how we want to rest, to discover what we need for self-care and do it on a regular basis. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm 28 years old and I have no idea what work-life balance looks like yet. My goal is to discover what it looks like because I deserve it. So pretty much my whole life has been spent in school, and this coming year will be the first time that I experience a life without having academics as a factor. This time next year, I won't know what it's like not to be in school. I will just be experiencing the like work life world, like simply work in life. Y'all know what I mean? Like, I cannot wait to be in a space where I only have like one role, because right now I wear so many different hats. So like I work full time and then I work other places part-time, and I'm a full-time student, and I'm a TA, and like I just always am switching hats. And like even within my program, like there's times where I'm a teacher, there's times where I'm a supervisor, then I have like regular work stuff, and I'm always just like one hat after the one hat after another hat, one hat after another hat. And I'm just looking forward to a time where instead of wearing 10 hats in like one day, that I just get to wear like 2. You know what I mean? Like employee Angie, you know, like employee friend, then employee and spouse, or like employee and daughter, employee and sister. Like just having 2 things that occupy my world, which are simply Angie things and work things, and like that be it. And I think even even after I take school off the board, y'all, I work so many freaking jobs that I still won't just be wearing one hat, but academia will be off of the table, because like I come home, I sit in front of my computer, I work on my dissertation, I do telehealth, I go to work. It's just one thing after another. So I also think that a lot of us wear many roles in our life, and you can probably think about what roles you play in your life and how many of them require something from you, and how often you have to show up in those roles, in the capacity sometimes that you have or do not have to give to those roles. And I think what is important is for you to always do an inventory of, why am I doing this? Do I want to do this? And how do I cultivate joy in the midst of doing this, right? Like, why do you work the job that you work? Does it actually bring you fulfillment? Like just constantly taking inventory of, why do I do what I do? And does it bring me fulfillment, right? Because here's the other thing about work-life balance that I think is super crucial. If you enjoy what you do to an extent, you won't need work-life balance, because whatever you're doing really like draws you to the thing, draws you closer to who you're becoming, who you want to be, all of those things. Hold please, my husband is calling. Hello?
Hey, baby.
Hey, honey.
Do me a favor, double check that Domino's app, please. I know you're recording, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay, you're okay. I'm just looking. Check now.
All right. 20 to 30 minutes.
All right, baby.
Okay.
I guess I never hit process. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
All right, I love you.
I love you.
Bye, baby. But yeah, like, if you really love what you do and you do what you love, then how much balance do you actually need, right? Like, okay, my work schedule, which y'all ideal, like this is I won't say every, but like when I was in school and we talked about ideal jobs, like dream jobs as a therapist, private practice was like the holy grail. And I finally got into a place where I'm doing private practice work. I'm ecstatic and I love it. I work 4 days a week. I always have off on Friday. I schedule my own clients, how many clients I want to see a day. And I love that. And I think now that I'm finally in a place that I get to do what I love in a way that I love, I don't necessarily need work-life balance. I do have boundaries that I set up with work, and my boundaries are 3 things. I don't take paperwork home, so I need to build into my day a time to do the paperwork. I do not alter my schedule, no matter how bad somebody wants me to alter my schedule. Like if a client's like, I really can't, come anytime after 5. But if I'm done for the day at 5, I'm sorry, love, you'll just have to go on my schedule for a day that you and I can both be here. So I don't alter my schedule. I stick to my working hours. And I communicate my needs and feelings to my supervisor. And so those are like my 3 boundaries that I keep for my job. And I feel like I've been working there the past month, and that really works for me. So I don't really feel like I don't have or that I need work-life balance, because I'm in a place that allows me to operate in a capacity that is like ideal to me. B, I'm really clear on my boundaries and firm about them, so that there's no animosity, tension, frustration, underlying tones that come across when you find yourself burnt out. When talking about work-life balance, if you're not in a place that you love to work, set clear boundaries. And if you have a hard time determining what those boundaries are, think about the times where your job just really pisses you off and what led up to that. Like, think about jobs that you have where you feel like your freedoms are being impeded on, or you're not being respected as an individual or as an asset to a company. That's where you can start to discover, where are my boundaries? What are you typically gossiping about in your workplace? What are you typically frustrated about? When you and your coworkers have an opportunity to sit down, like, what are the workplace icks that y'all chat about? Those things are typically where your boundaries are being crossed, and where you probably need to go back and reassess, how can I set these boundaries or be firm about them? But I really am rooting for all of you. Let me tell you, I'm really rooting for all of you to find a work environment that is ideal for you, that brings about the spark and the joy and the love that you have for the work that you do. Because we get caught up in thinking that as we adult, life is supposed to be this mundane 8 to 5, 9 to 5 kind of regular schedule where you have no fulfillment and joy until you schedule a vacation. You should not be showing up to your job every week feeling like that. And if you are, I challenge you to start looking for somewhere else to go. Also, when it comes to work-life balance and determining what is the struggle there, assess, like, what do you prioritize in a job, right? Because if what you prioritize is the paycheck, and there are some other faults within the company or your work environment, but the paycheck is what is really important to you, then there are places and times where you're going to have to be like, well, I'm just going to have to suck it up, because what I prioritize and need out of a work environment is the maximum amount of dollars. And in that environment, I guess the only thing you hold on to really is your bi-weekly paycheck and your scheduled vacation. But recognize what you need out of a job so that you can determine what work-life balance is going to look like for you. Because work-life balance to me just looks like expressing my boundaries and sticking to my boundaries and having a supervisor who supports my boundaries. In the past, in work environments, those have always been my boundaries, but I won't always say they were honored. And so having supervisors that honor my boundaries and see my boundaries and respect my boundaries is crucial to me. So the researcher in me looked up the definition of work-life balance. And it says a healthy work-life balance refers to maintaining a harmonious relationship between your work and personal life. It involves consciously managing your time and energy to meet both your professional and personal commitments while prioritizing self-care and well-being. What I hear in that is that this is up to you. That these things are in your control. Let me refer back, okay? We want to maintain a harmonious relationship between work and personal life. If you walk into work and Harmony does not reside there, her name might be Harmony, but she reeks of chaos. I don't know, but Harmony does not reside there. Harmony does not show up there. I think it is our job to assess that. Know what we bring to that environment. Is the environment not harmonious because I am full of chaos? And then make a plan of action to do something. Let me tell you, when I was working in the prison, there are so many people in prison settings that hate their job, but refuse to leave because they love the paycheck. And I just remember feeling like that is no way to live your life. I cannot live my life like that. I do not like it here. And I don't want to spend my days in my life not liking where I spend the majority of my time. Why do I keep coming back here? Why do I keep doing that to myself? And I understand that we don't always have the opportunities to just up and leave jobs or to change direction. But I will say you always have the opportunity and the option to say, let me apply for 4 jobs a day, 1 job a day. Let me go out and network. Let me take a day off from this job, put in some PTO and go to a job fair. You always have the option. So when it comes to creating that harmony between your work and personal life, that harmony is up to you. Because if you don't like where you are, I'm a big advocate for like taking control in my life. If you don't like where you are, change it. If you don't like it, change it. Or shut up and be content with what you're doing. Those are the options. So it's about maintaining harmonious relationship between your work and your personal life. It involves consciously managing your time and energy to meet both professional and personal commitments. Consciously managing. If you feel like you have no work-life balance, where are you unconsciously placing your energy and time that you can then allocate more attention to, right? Like, are you showing up to work in a way in which that drains your energy by engaging in workplace gossip, or by giving more energy to petty things than you need to, allowing every little small thing a coworker or supervisor does to impact your attitude and mood? And then are you carrying that stuff home with you when you leave that workplace? It's about how conscious are you about what sucks up your energy and what gives you energy. How conscious are you to not repeat those behaviors from day to day? How conscious are you not to drag that stuff with you from work to home? What is your decompression ritual from work to home? Do you have one? And maybe you should create one. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be, every day after I get off work, I sit in my car for 10 minutes out in front of the house. Now, be safe, but maybe that's what you do and doom scroll. Before I go in my house, I'm going to rid my mind and my emotions of what just took place at work. I think it's a really great idea to take time to read a book in between work and home. Do you have time to just crack open a book for 10 to 15 minutes before you go in your house and take with you that pissy poor environment that you had at work, and so that you can be present and accounted for at home? It doesn't take long, but you need to do something that shifts your mindset from work to home. So that you can show up there fully and wholly, not carrying the baggage from the day at work. So I'm going to give y'all a couple of tips to help you find work-life balance. I've kind of sat on here and chatted with y'all for a good bit. I hope this feels relaxed and like fun and natural, because I feel relaxed, fun, and natural. I hope y'all are following what I'm saying and I'm not just rambling on. I'm drinking a sleepy time tea, and I guarantee by the time I wash my face and take a shower, it's gonna hit me and have me out like a light. Does anyone else feel like their spouse does things better than they do? Like when I was growing up, my mom used to be like, your dad just makes the coffee so much better than I do. And I used to not understand it, and my dad would be like, okay, whatever, just ask me to make the coffee. But Jared makes my nighttime tea, to me, so much better than I make my nighttime tea. So shout out to you, husband. It's always delicious. It always just tastes better than when I make it. So some of the things, I'm going to shorten and condense what I'm saying. Some of the things we can just talk about in a bulleted list, but I've already touched on them earlier in this video. But that is setting boundaries, sticking to the boundaries you set. Time management. How much time are you allocating to work? Do you come in and get straight to work and you are an effective, proactive employee? Do you lollygag throughout your day and then find yourself trying to rush later in the afternoon on your way home? Do you find yourself bringing work home because you're not managing your time well at work? Are you so overworked that you don't have any time management because you're constantly doing something, then you still have to bring work home because your plate is too full? Looking at time management, setting boundaries, stress management. How much are you allowing your job to impact you? What are you giving power to in your work environment that could probably be done away with? Are you managing your stress well by filtering what you allow to penetrate your aura, your spirit, your energy, your chakras, however you want to phrase it? Are you being aware of what you're giving energy to in your work setting? I say don't be flexible. Another tip of mine is do not be flexible. And I know that sounds kind of rigid, but the minute you show up being overly flexible is the minute you start disrespecting your boundaries. That is also when they believe that they can push the needle on your boundaries and see how far they can get you to do extra stuff. So flexibility is a no. What is my job description? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to show up? What are my allocated work hours? That is what I'm sticking to. Not because I'm selfish, not because I'm ugly, but because I have boundaries. And I do not want the lines to be blurred or crossed. So don't be flexible. And watch how things change. They'll find somebody else to do it, or they'll hire somebody to do it because it's not your job. I learned that the hard way. And no job will ever have me stressed out, overworked, trying to be flexible, be everybody's favorite employee. By not being flexible, you avoid being overworked. Neglect sharing too much of your personal life in your workplace. It is nice to chit chat, to chop it up, to share a little bit, to have a work bestie. But remember that this is a job. In order to maintain work-life balance, neglect, let it go, put it to the side, oversharing. Because you never know when that oversharing is going to come back to bite you in the butt. And everybody doesn't have good intentions. So just be mindful of oversharing, especially if you're trying to establish a healthy work-life balance. If we're looking to improve our work-life balance, we also want to think about planning ahead. Looking at the schedules for the week, for the month, for the day, and saying, how can I execute them best by embracing the way my brain works? So do you work better when you come in and you hit the ground running in the morning? Do you work better pushing some of the work towards the afternoon and doing like assessments and meetings and like slow stuff in the morning, fast-paced stuff in the afternoon? Really embracing your work pattern so that you can optimize your time at work. Set times for different tasks. So am I going to work on documentation for 2 hours before I go to lunch? And how many documents do I need to have done before I go so that I feel like I'm optimizing my time? Finding a way to unplug, finding a way to decompress, finding a way to really settle into home mode and get out of work mode. That's why sometimes I even suggest, like, if you have the opportunity to leave work and go to some kind of workout class, a cycling class, a yoga class, a spin class, whatever, a step class, getting a 45-minute workout in, so that you can leave the day of work right where it needs to be. And then as you enter your home space, really allowing yourself to just exist and be happy to be home. Take time off. Use that PTO. Let them prepare the others. Take the time off. I promise you, I don't really need to take time off at the job I'm at now. But at previous places, I would just intentionally schedule time off. At least once a month, I'm taking a day off. I got to go. I cannot be here. I don't want to be here. Something I loved about my first mental health job that I ever took, they scheduled self-care days. And it was based off of seniority. So the person who'd been there the longest gets to pick their day. But then the rest of us got to pick a day too. So that we weren't all off at the same time. But they gave that day to us. Because mental health is difficult work. But I was really thankful for that. In the prison, not so much. They did not care. But I made sure to just not show up. I surely did. Whether you approve my PTO or not, I just won't be there. I have no intention of coming to that place. So take your time off. And then lastly, I think it's important to always remember to reconsider, why do I need work-life balance? What about this job has me yearning for work-life balance? What is happening here that is disrupting my feelings or my mood or my comfort level? What in this environment is shaking things up in my life in a way that I don't want it to? Because when you're yearning for work-life balance, that's an indication of a deficiency somewhere in the work setting. And so reconsider, ponder, wonder, explore, why am I in desperate need of understanding how to achieve work-life balance? Because that already means that something is off kilter. And so how do we fix it? What do we do? And it starts with you being able to even identify what is off, what is happening, how do I change it? You guys, that's all I got to say about work-life balance. I hope it made sense. I hope I wasn't talking too fast. I do realize that I talk kind of fast sometimes. But I really my thoughts in my brain move faster than the words that come out of my mouth. I've probably already had 17 thoughts by the time the one thought has left. So y'all just bear with me when it comes to pace in the way in which I speak. I'm going to finish this sleepy time tea. I'm going to go wash my face, bathe my behind, and I'm going to climb in bed because tomorrow I get my hair colored back to like my smoky gray that I was really excited about. And I have to tell y'all and catch y'all up on just where I've been in life, but I'm going to tell y'all about that next week. I had a hernia repair. Let me tell you something. When they tell you that a hernia repair is quick and simple and easy, don't believe them if they did tell you that. You need at least 72 hours to feel even remotely okay. Okay? Just take my word for it. If you have had one, you understand what I'm saying, because my doctor told me I was going to be just fine, and I was not just fine. I was struggling and hurting. I was not just fine. And so I am like almost like 9 days post hernia repair. And I have to tell y'all about that journey, but I'm going to tell you. I guess that's my computer's way of telling me to shut the hell up. Anyway, it just kind of stopped recording. It said my maximum recording time had been reached. Anyway, what I'm saying is I have to tell y'all about that another day. I hope y'all have a beautiful, wonderful, incredible week. Know that you are loved. You are so valued and important. I hope that you find spaces that cultivate softness and happiness and excitement in you. Your work should not be simply just work. It should not be mundane. You should be excited, fired up about the work you do. And there are jobs out there that want to hire you and that will bring about all those feelings. I'm not saying that it's not going to be work. I'm not saying that it won't have its challenges and its hard days or its hard moments, but you will be able to say, I love what I do. And so I am hoping that for you, praying that for you, sending that to you through this camera. And I will talk to y'all next time. Love you. Bye. Still in love, still in love. Are you gonna be in love with me? It's driving me crazy to think that my baby wouldn't be still in love with me.